fetishes, where the word comes from, and what it is, and it's a little bit different than just the straight up sexual term that we're all familiar with. So we're not even going to go into that. Sexually, a fetish is getting aroused at something other than a naked person, as far as I understand it. It's a piece of clothing or a scenario or something that has an extra charge to it. And from that, we get a clue as to what non-sexual fetishes are. I did some research, some real research, because I got a new microphone. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but I can. The word fetish comes from a few old words. The French fetiche, which comes from a Portuguese fetisho, and then that goes to the Latin factitious. They kind of mean fake or artificial or to make. So it's to give something power. Anthropologists came up with the term when they were trying to figure out how to explain what was going on in Africa. Their medicine men and women and their whole religious viewpoint kind of threw the white guys into a tizzy, and they would call the tools of these indigenous peoples, religious workers, fetishes, because they would be objects that they claimed would give them magic powers. Then it became kind of something to make fun of. There's a bunch of anthropologists and historians who just kind of write a whole bunch of just jerky things that have nothing to do with trying to understand the culture and just making it so that the European culture seems better than the African one. At least that's what I took from this. Now, here's my favorite part. When I was looking this stuff up, I found that in 1927, Sigmund Freud wrote an essay called Fetishism. And there's a great quote in there. It's not great because it's insightful or useful. It's great because he's cocaine personified. And when I read this quote, I thought that's exactly what someone who does too much cocaine would say. He says, "The fetish is a substitute for the penis, for a particular and quite special penis that had been extremely important in early childhood, but had later been lost." I don't know what that means. And I don't know, it's completely presented lack of context. So we see the history of the fetish is an inanimate object that's imbued with special meaning or power and changes a person's behavior. At least that's what I took from all that. So in that sense, both the laptop and the new microphone I bought are fetish objects, because they made me feel like I was able to do things I had previously felt I couldn't do. In the case of the laptop, I didn't end up learning how to write stories. I just took the energy, the excitement generated by the idea of writing stories that was fueled by the new computer stuff, and I just kept buying new stuff with it. But this time I think I learned a little bit of a lesson. This is the 11th episode of the podcast, and I did 10 of them before I even got the microphone, and about 5 of them before I ordered it. So that time I channeled the excitement of getting something new into actually doing something. Slight improvement to be gained by paying attention to how you think. Sorry to disappoint you if you're looking for something sexier. Before we go though, if you're still confused or think this idea is bullshit, think back to when you were a kid. Every little kid had a special toy. I don't mean Linus and his blanket, but that's a great example. But we all had something that made us feel great. It's not that goes away when you get older. You just, because of peer pressure, start to feel foolish, and you let it fall by the wayside. But maybe we shouldn't. Maybe it's just that our concept of magic is overcomplicated.
Nice to be in orbit.